What's up, everybody? George, are you getting hit with the fucking blizzard?
No, I got nothing. I got rain, pimping.
Yeah, you know what? All this shit they were calling for in the D.C. metropolitan area, and we ended up getting a bunch of rain as well.
You know what the best part is? You wonder why you get federal government cuts? Because those assholes got off today. That's well, obviously they have more money than they have sense, and they'll just live with the cuts. Speaking of people who got cut,
right? Who?
Clint got whooped. And he didn't get cut from the house, and he didn't get whooped. But like I was telling Kevin, it was your classic striker versus grappler. Grappler takes striker down. Striker has no idea. He's like a blonde on his back. He's fucked. He has no idea what's going on. And
the funny thing, I mean, this is the thing that I found so funny about the fight, George. And we're talking about TUF, 17, obviously, episode 7. We're doing a recap of that. But you know what I found so bizarre about that is that this guy, Clint, when he was getting taken down, he was getting some nasty ass shots in to the point where you were like, oh my God, he might win this first round based on that.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I don't know if it was editing or what, or maybe because he's a boxer, but when his strikes just sounded different. When he hit that dude in the ribs and in the kidney area, I was just like, oh, damn. This shit just sounded like it hurt.
It did. It was sounding off, and I'm like going, you know what? For Quinlan to be taking him down, he's not actually doing a lot of damage. Actually, Hester's doing more damage than Quinlan is. And then I thought, okay, you got through that round being taken down. You might have won that round based on how much damage you were doing. And now you go into the second round. I would think that you want to keep your game plan standing up because now you're in your element. If you can stand with this guy, you're definitely going to be in a much better position. So what does he do? He runs across the ring with his head down. Yeah, I just didn't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, Clint lost. Clint was my favorite. But now, like, what I think the biggest dilemma is about to come up. Like, the wild card's coming. I'm not sure how they're going to pick it. I haven't watched the show, so I'm not sure how the wild card exactly works. But it's obviously somebody from Jon Jones's team. And if he has a say in it, if Jon Jones has a say in it, does he go with Clint or does he go with his teammate Bubba?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, at first I would have said you definitely would go with Clint because he was the #1 pick. But it's like, I mean, just that game plan. I don't know if he was listening to his corner or not. That makes me kind of skeptical. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm sure that dude is a top-notch wrestler. They listed all of his accomplishments. It just looked like there were times when he was up against the cage and he only had him, Clint was only being held there by his ankle. Why didn't he just fucking kick away and back up and keep it standing? Like, that was early in the first round. I'm like, what are you doing?
I have no fucking idea, man. I just found that whole, like, it seemed like almost I got a sense almost like he wasn't giving it 100%. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when he came back after the first round in the corner, he seemed enthusiastic, he seemed happy, he didn't seem like, you know what I'm saying? And then he just ran across the fucking ring and did that shit at the beginning of the second round. I'm like, why are you going across the ring with your head down to a guy who has controlled you and taking you down at will the whole entire first round? Why are you putting yourself back?
It made no sense. Now, speaking of other things that are controversial and maybe might not make a whole lot of sense to a lot of people, there's a transgender MMA fighter who's looking to get their license redone.
Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar, this woman, Fallon Fox, is now facing licensing problems. She's basically bracing herself for a lot of controversy because she's what, 37 years old, George?
Yeah, she is a him, or was a him.
Was a him.
Now is a her. And has spent the last 10 years. And see, this is where the controversy comes in. And I'm fine with this because obviously when you do one of these procedures to go from a man to a woman or a woman to a man, you have to take the opposite sex hormones. So when this man then became a woman, he has to pump himself full of estrogen in order to make other feminine conversions and thus decreasing his level of testosterone, basically putting him on the same level as a woman. And to me is if she, because that's what he is now, tests at a normal female level of testosterone, I don't see what the problem is. I really don't.
I don't know, man. You know me, I'm a big advocate of female MMA and everything, and, equality
you just like
and
giant
all that.
Oversized clits is your problem.
Whatever, man. But I have a problem with, because the fact that at one point she was a man, all that lean body tissue that you can, just having those test levels all your life, you know what I mean? You put on you have a lot of refined muscle on your body. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, not that 37, I mean, she just had a 39-second knockout her last fight.
Right, she needs some chick in the face. But, well, I mean, then what do you say about Cyborg? She artificially put lean muscle mass on her body.
Well, yeah, and I said it, you know, I said it, but we said it all along. Like, Cyborg was jacked. We knew it. It was very apparent, and people were like blasting us saying, "Oh, you guys are fucked up. I know people that look like that from training." I'm like,
no,
yeah, you know what? You know, we know people what they look like when they train, but you know, when a woman's skin is that fucking thin, she's holding that much muscle, you know, she's probably fucking with some gear. And this woman, in contrast, has stepped away from that because she had male levels of testosterone, obviously, when she was a man at one point in her life. But it's like, okay, what about all that refinement in her body? What about all that lean body tissue that she was able to put on for years?
Can you imagine if you started pumping estrogen into your body and did that shit for 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, now I don't know how much of my muscle would go away. I know I might be crying at when I was watching Lassie.
You would look like Steve Urkel. You would be pencil thin with some giant fake titties, have like 37 wigs, and you'd be out there banging all the dudes in DC.
I don't know, because obviously neither one of us ever been down that road and stuff like this. So,
and I never will be. I'm happy with being a man. I'm not a woman trapped in here. That shit don't make no sense.
Right, you know, obviously if you're trapped, if you feel like you're a woman, or if you're, you know, obviously if you feel like you're trapped inside a body, I can understand that, you know, but I mean, the bottom line is this: what do you guys think out there? What do you think? Do you think she should be able to
compete
fight
against women?
Against women, and you know, she's had the surgery. You know, she is a female now, but she was a man at one point, and she did have male.
Look, the facts are she was a woman 10. I mean, she's been going through this process for 10 years. It's not like, to me, if this was a year ago, you'd have a little cooling off period. You'd have to get those, like I said,
right.
To me, you have to get those test levels down. So
yeah, and you do have a point. I mean, obviously, if she can get tested and everything. But I just do think, like, and I guess I don't know. I guess it would be the same thing if some guy was jacked on, you know, if I was a fighter and I was jacked on juice for fucking 10 years, and all of a sudden I cleaned up for 10 years. I mean,
you mean
how
like
much
Alistair
of that
Overeem, whose test levels were reported as dangerously low?
Right, you know, I mean, so, you know, maybe her level's even lower, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait to see what the tests reveal. You know what I mean?
Our next topic is, to me, one that all the details aren't out.
Right.
A lot of this is he said, she said. I don't know quite how to put things in this type format, but Team Lloyd Irvin is having a mass exodus of fighters over some very dicey accusations.
Yes, and the bloody several MMA sites were reporting. Bloody Elbow was reporting it and stuff like this, and you know they've had sexual abuse allegations. They've had, you know, from their instructors,
coaching staff.
I mean, and they had that. You said what now?
I would say, just to give, in case anyone hasn't read the article, Team Irvin, or Lloyd Irvin, gets a home, puts his top medaling athletes in this house. They live there for free, male and female. It turns, or the story is, and you can go to Bloody Elbow and read
this. Medal chasers. These guys are called the medal chasers, right?
Yeah,
guys
the
and women.
Medal chasers. It's like faces, but no.
Right. So go ahead and proceed, my brother.
So basically what happens is these coaches come to you, and the people in the house have been programmed to think Android. They say jump, you say how high, and don't question. Well, it turns out that some of the instructors were abusing this privilege into sexual favors. Now, again, none of this has been proven. This is just people who have left, who have come out and said that this is what's going on.
Yeah, and it is coming from some. I mean, when you read the articles, it looks like obviously it's people that were part of this team. You know, people. It is coming from some legitimate sources, and that's the only thing that George and I can say right now. You know what I mean? Until, you know, everything really gets more brought out in the open.
So
I mean,
do you think Dominic Cruz is getting worn like a sock puppet?
You said what now?
Do you think Dominic Cruz is getting worn like a sock puppet?
Oh God, please don't.
He's tiny. I mean, Lloyd Irvin's a big dude. I mean,
Oh, Lloyd is a big guy. Lloyd is a big guy because, I mean, he used to train, right down the street at, when Yamasaki first got everything going, and he's somebody that branched off from Yamasaki. He's no longer affiliated with them, but I mean, and Lloyd was nasty. I mean, he was nasty at BJJ, and he obviously took that and went on to open his own schools.
Yeah, I'd say his instructors are nasty at another form of BJJ.
Yeah, I mean, and it's painting a really ugly picture for that whole team and that whole academy and stuff like this.
And this is an instructor in Lloyd Irvin who had to battle his own rape charges at what, 17, 18 at a party. Yeah, basically maybe didn't run a train on a girl, and she, 3 people were charged, and he was the only one who got off. It was just, it's really messy. If you have time, go read the article. I mean, go read the article. You'll find it over at Bloody Elbow. And, it was, I mean, Lloyd Irvin was involved, obviously accused of something that happened back in the late 80s with a woman and a girl at the time, and basically she seemed like he's claiming that she was willing, you know what I'm saying, and that her boyfriend found out, and then so it turned the table and everything. So nobody knows exactly what happened, and we don't know the details of what's happening with the Irvin camp right now, but this is just something obviously they don't need. I mean, because you got all your top people just bailing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not a good look. It is not a good look. Comical, brash, and sometimes politically incorrect. The Uncut Sports Show. Non-traditional sports coverage delivered the way you like it by your uncensored co-hosts, Kevin White and George Bedford.